Hey, Flosstube, Sean here. It's been a while. It's been about a year, I think, a year since I posted my last video, which was a full coverage WIP Parade, which is what this is going to be. I posted that on Christmas Eve last year. And at that time, I had intended to come back a little bit more regularly, but it's been a bit of a year. Um, Spent the first part of last year off and on sick through most of the winter and into the spring. Just every time I thought about filming, I started hacking up a lung again. Just the weather was just driving my allergies nuts, and it's already been happening a little bit this winter so far. Just get all that drainage and just start. It makes me cough, and you just don't feel like filming. So that's what happened the first part of the year. Summer, I I I was dealing with some kidney stone issues, so I spent a little bit of time in the hospital with that, both in June and July. Then I was in a one act play festival that I performed in. First time I'd been on stage in 8 years. So that took some time. Then just been last latter part of the year, just been trying to figure out when and how to return to Flosstube. So I hope you've all been well. I hope this video finds you. I know I had a call out from Megan at um, oh shoot, what's her channel name? Uh, Stitching Moon. Megan at Stitching Moon did a video and kind of called me out a little bit. Did a little bit of shout out. Mentioned that I hadn't made a video in a while. So yeah, Megan, I didn't comment, but I did see your video. Thank you for mentioning me in that, and I have been wanting to come back. Sorry, my dog just walked into the room, so I'm petting her. Um, Let me see, because I never got. I mentioned in last year's WIP Parade. Gypsy, come here. Gypsy, Gypsy. I mentioned in last year's WIP Parade that I got a dog, but I filmed that one from the basement where she's not allowed because that's the cat space. I'm in my office now. So here's Gypsy. Here's our pup we got last year. She'll be 4 years old in January. So this is Gypsy. My wife is in a holiday show right now, so she's got double performances today. So I'm taking the opportunity with the house to myself to film. So I may have to pause if we have a bell on the back sliding glass door that she rings when she wants to go out. So I may have to pause here and there to let her out if I hear the bell. So, but this is going to be my full coverage WIP Parade. I do have non-full coverage pieces that I really haven't worked on this year at all. A little bit in the beginning of the year, but I'm trying to figure out a solution because one, I need a new eye appointment. I need new glasses. I know my prescription has changed a little bit, so I'm having trouble seeing the higher count fabric where the holes are. I bought this magnifier light thing that's got attachments in. I just got this last week, but it's not working out for me. It kind of gives me a headache. So, well, I think once I get a new prescription and maybe work out some sort of other kind of magnifying solution, my non-full coverage is going to be a little bit more of a possibility. So I'm hoping to get into that next year. I may make a 2025 plans video, but I'm thinking right now I never complete WIP Go every year, but I'm thinking, sorry, this video is going to be a rambling mess because I haven't done this in a year. But I never complete WIP Go, but I'm thinking maybe 2 WIP Go boards next year, one for full coverage, one for non-full coverage. And I've already got it filled out. And so I've got 24 non-full, or I've got 12 full coverage or non-full coverage pieces. So I've got them each on the board twice. So hopefully they get touched for at least twice next year a piece for 3 days a piece. So we'll see if that works out. Because I would like to, I do like enjoy working on it, but I just full coverage is where my heart's at. So this will be my full coverage WIP Parade. This is going to be a bit long. I do have a lot of full coverage pieces. You will notice, if you've been following me for a while, you will notice the absence of some pieces that you may be used to seeing. I decided to UFO some pieces, and I cut down and reused the fabric for other things. And I did it wrong once. I thought I did this little start palooza in the late summer. Hi, G here. Ginger wants to say hi too. Say hi to Flosstube, Ginger. She's like, now get me out of here. And I mistook the count of the fabric that I had cut down. I thought it was all 28 count, and some of it was 25 count. So I had to scrap some new starts that I had done because they weren't going to fit, because I did the measurements on 28 and it was 25 count fabric. So eventually I will get those restarted. And I also may do, I got a few things, several things that I want to start, even though I have like 42 full coverage projects currently. I almost would kind of like to get to an even 50, but I know me, I'll probably go beyond that too. But I just watched 310 Stitcher just did a video of all the things that she plans to start in the near future. And if I have enough that I think I'm going to start, I might do that, because that was kind of a cool video. I haven't been watching a ton of Floss. I'm finally starting to watch Flosstube again too, on a more regular basis. Sorry, drink of water. I've not been watching a ton of Flossmas because I don't got the time. I don't got to keep up with everybody's Flossmas. I don't got time for that. I have been enjoying the Running Stitchers Flossmas videos, Crafty Gaming Jamie. I've been enjoying her Flossmas videos. I've seen a couple other random ones here and there, but I haven't. Those are the only two I'm fully caught up on. So anyway, enough rambling. Let's get into the WIP Parade, because it's going to take a hot minute, and I know that a lot of you don't mind longer videos, but I also got other things I want to do today. Okay, so I'm going to first start with a finish that I never showed on Flosstube, because I finished it in, I want to say March or April. I showed it on my Instagram, which I also don't utilize very often. I did some posts a week or so ago, and then I'm just bad at it. I'm just bad at social media. But so this finish, if you didn't see it on Instagram, you haven't seen it, because I never got around to making a video to show it. And it is my Audrey piece. And I got Q-snaps in the way. And here it is. Okay, here we go. This is Audrey Hepburn sitting in the window, singing Moon River and Breakfast at Tiffany's. And it is finished. It's not fully finished. It's not framed, obviously not framed or anything. I don't know when or if I'm ever going to get around to that. But it is nice to pull out and look at every once in a while. Or I probably will eventually get it framed, but for right now, that's where it's at. And this is my first big full coverage piece I've ever finished. And really only the third thing I've ever finished. So there's that. That one is done. That's not no longer a WIP. I'm going to get my pattern keeper ready too, so I can show you what stuff is supposed to look like when it's done. Okay, so this next one is the 2024 Haid Sal, which I fell off of, obviously. I first started it on doing half stitch, and I just don't like 10 stitch. I like full cross. So I bought a new piece of fabric and I restarted it. Um, and I just I fell off of it. Um, I got the astrology cat one, and this is what it's supposed to look like when it's done. This is where I am at with it. I actually just put about 408 stitches into it last night because I wanted to get it up to 5%. That's another thing I want to try and do, is start getting some of these projects up to at least 5% finished. I'd like to get at least 75% of my WIPs. Of the WIPs that I have that are not up to 5%, I would like to get at least 75% of them up to 5% by next year. And that's including one that I'm going to start as soon as the first part comes out. I bought the Cross Stitch Studio 2025 cell. So that's including that. But yeah, I fell off of this. I'm gonna be honest, my Hades have not, I've fallen a little bit out of love with Hade a little bit. I had an issue with them when the mass exodus of artists that happened, that was related to the wishy-washiness over how they were handling AI art. But I bought a pattern before it was retired, a full coverage pattern, and when I imported it into Pattern Keeper, it had several symbols that couldn't find a color for, and when I searched, and this was a max color chart, and when I did a manual search for them, those symbols weren't even in the pattern at all. Like if I looked at the floss key, those there was a mismatch of symbols. The symbols that were showing, some of the symbols that were showing up, I was just going to manually enter them myself. And when I looked at the chart on Pattern Keeper as to where it was saying that symbol was, and I looked at the PDF chart, completely different symbol. So they just didn't match at all. So I emailed and said, look, I know this just got retired, but we got a problem. I don't know if this can be recharted or what can be done. I'm happy to accept the regular version too, if you can just email me the regular version. And then I got an email back that was basically just an attachment with a new max color chart. It was called Max Color 2. And I don't know what they did, but it looked horrible in the mock-up. They just it was almost like they substituted all those colors for relatively the same color all through, because it was just completely like I'm color. I have color challenges, but it was kind of a green. The whole thing just had a green grayish washout to it, and it just looked horrible. So I emailed him back and said, "Can you take a look at this?" And I might have even included, I don't even remember, but I stated what the problem was with the current thing, and I said again, I am if you just want to send me the regular color, the regular chart, that's fine. I understand that this is now a retired chart. Never heard another word from them, which I didn't appreciate. Even just a simple email. Look, I'm sorry. This is the best we can do. I apologize for the inconvenience. I apologize for the way. Nothing. Didn't get a single word back from them. And there's just been some other things I've seen. I don't love what they've done with the Hade Sal next year, if I'm honest, because the one this year was complete it, you get 2 free charts, complete 4 pages to get all the charts. This year, they've made it 6 complete pages. I think too many people were getting complete and they now made it harder to get the rewards next year. And I don't love that. I've been kind of falling out of love with Hade. But I do still have a ton of Hade charts that I have started. But the latter part of the year, I was kind of leaning more on other companies' charts. So they're done. That's out of the way, off my head, out of my brain. But yeah, that is Astrology Cat. I put everything up here. I didn't decide where it was all going when I'm done. All right, so we're gonna stack up here, then I'll move them back there where they go. Next one is Mermaid. I should have said artwork is by Ciro Marchetti on this. This mermaid is artwork by, and I should have stated too, it's been a year since I've done this, guys. I should have stated too that all of these are being stitched on either 25 or 28 count even weave fabric. I'm not going to state it, and it's all 1/1 full cross. I'm not going to state the fabric for each one. It's either 25 or 28 count. Elena Lazareva. This is what it'll look like when it's done. This is where I'm at with it. This will be going on the Q-Snap probably this afternoon. I got another chart I'm about to get up to 5%, and this is next in line. You know what? I'm going to hold that up just a little bit longer, just so I can grab a screen grab of it for before pictures. If I do get to continue making Flosstube videos this year, I can do, this is where it was at before. My light seems to have changed. That washes my face out too much. All right, I'll go one on that. Hopefully that one doesn't die. If you're new to my channel, this is your first time seeing me, I ramble and I don't edit. I don't like editing. I'll put pictures in if I need to, but I don't like editing. So you get me mistakes and all. This is Fly Away. This is artwork by Jessica Elaine, Heaven and Earth Designs. View mock-up. This is what it'll look like when it's done. This is where I'm at with it. I started to see I got some work done down here on her face a bit. I was starting to play with color completing a bit. You're going to see that on another one or two charts. I don't know that color completing is for me, but sometimes it's nice just to pay attention to one color and just knock some stitch count out. This is QS Arthur, artwork by Linda Ravenscroft. This is what it'll look like when it's done. It's ridiculous this is not done yet because I could easily finish this within a year, but I just don't go to it very often. This is where it's at now. It might be the same place it was at from last year's. I don't know. If anything, I put a little bit of work down here on it this year. I really haven't touched this one much this year. This one is Simply Meant to Be, artwork by Sherry Gerhardt, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Mock up this. This is another one I don't touch very often, and I've considered UFOing it because I don't touch it very often. And there's a part of me that is bothered. That is bothered by the way this hair comes out here. See, her hair is straight and natural, but there's this weird swing out of hair here, and it doesn't make sense to me. It seems out of place. It seems like it comes from nowhere, and it bothers me a little bit. And it's one of the reasons I don't pick this one up very often. I've thought about just getting the story keep, which it cuts. Crap. If you, it doesn't. He doesn't show up very well in this, but you can kind of see Oogie Boogie in the moon there. So the story keep kind of cuts him out, but you get Jack, Sally, and Zero's head. So I thought about getting that because that will cut out the part of this that bothers me. But nonetheless, here's where I'm at with it. It is probably the exact same spot minus 1 or 2 stitches that I was at. I can't see me. When I showed it last year. This is let's say, a strong UFO candidate. Next one is Writing My Memoirs. Artwork is by Jeff Haney, Heaven and Earth Designs. This is what it'll look like when it's done. If I show the PDF, you will see a black border around it that is not charted in the piece. And I decided to stitch that black border because I like it better on the black border. Again, I haven't touched this piece much this year. This is where it's at. It's very similar to where it was at last year. Next is Story Keep Baldu Mosque. And this is artwork by Babette Vandenberg. This is what it'll look like when it's done. And this is another one I was playing with color completion on. So this is where I'm at with it currently. Next up is one I know I haven't touched this year. And it is Sunset in Venice. Artwork is by Dominic Davison. And this is what it'll look like when it's done. And this is where I am at with it. Which is the same spot I was at with it last year, because I really haven't picked this one up this year. Okay, this is one of those new starts I mentioned that I cut other fabric down for. This is Hora Mortis. Artwork is by Alchemy England. Alchemy Carta England is what it says on here, but it's Alchemy England. And charted by Unconventional Cross Stitch. I think this is Thread Geeks. Strike what I just said. Yeah, this is Thread Geeks. This is what it'll look like when it's done. This is just a small start on it. Bunch of black. Next up is one I restarted. I don't remember if it was last year or this year. I feel like I did a bunch of restarts in May this year, but I don't remember if it was last year or this year, so I don't know if you've seen this one or not. Since I restarted it. This is Spread Your Wings, artwork by Renee Biertempfel. And I did a middle start on it. I have some that I was playing with a middle start on. That is the wrong one. Okay, come on, Pattern Keeper. This is what it'll look like when it's done. I can just keep this folded up. This is where I'm at with it. I think that's the right way up. No. Maybe. Yeah, that's the right way up. So that is where I'm at with it. I have some that I've started in the middle that I'm still figuring out how I want to go about stitching them from the middle. Next is Meeting at the Turret Stairs. This is artwork by William Burton, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And Spread Your Wings was Heaven and Earth Designs too. Probably if I don't mention a company, it's probably Heaven and Earth Designs. And this is part of their Art of the Antiquities collection. And again, I don't need to unfold. This is where it's at. Next is In This Moment. Artwork is by Jeremiah Retner, Heaven and Earth Designs. This is what it'll look like when it's finished. And here is where it is at now. Oh, yeah, I gotta go back. I gotta do that a little bit there because, again, I started playing with color completion a little bit on this one. Okay, this is a new start. This is Life is a Dance in the Rain. Artwork is by Borda Danut Adrian, charted by Unconventional Cross Stitch. This is what it'll look like. Really love this piece. I don't work on it enough, but I do love the artwork. And this is where it is at. Really love a lot of Unconventional Crossworks stuff. I just bought a bunch. I just bought a bunch of stuff from them recently. Largely, when she had the fire a couple months ago, I did a big order of charts to help out with that, because I like a lot of their stuff and I wanted to help out. Next is The Muses. Artwork is by Tamara Markegard, Heaven and Earth Designs. This is what it'll look like. This is one I've kind of been all over the place on. I started doing a middle diagonal, and then I started to stitch in the middle, and then I started doing a little bit of black color completion, and it is, let me back up a little bit. So that's where I'm at with it. Next is Steampunk Cat. Art is by Masi Milano. This is Cross Stitch for Everyone on Etsy. Really? That is what it looks like. I don't pick this one up enough either. That is what it'll look. That is where I'm at with it. Next up is Enchanted Glimpse. Artwork is by Julie Fain, Heaven and Earth Designs. This is what it looked like. And right side up. This is where it's at. When I first started this, I was going to color complete black. This was several years ago, like pre-pandemic. So that's the outline you see down there of her arm and skirt. I was starting to outline all the black, and then I just started going for it. So that is the ones that are not in Q-Snaps. I need Mermaid because that is getting worked on this afternoon or this evening. I got about 200 some stitches to put into something else to get it up to 5%, and then I'll be start working on that one. So let's start on this side. This is Autumn Queen. Artwork by Bridget Ashwood. This is a max color. I don't want to view the PDF. I want to view the mock-up. This is what it'll look like. This is where I'm at. I was working on this one the other day. Was just working in this diagonal here. It was weird. Little diagonal here. This was for a stitch. This was to get stitch count for WIP Go. I got stuff all over the place. Okay. Next up is another one of my middle starts. This is Eclipse, artwork by Chris Down. This is what it'll look like. This was again. This was a restart. I had originally started this one in a bottom corner, and I wasn't happy with it, and I eventually just scrapped the fabric and used it for cut it down, used it for something else. But this is where it is at. So I got a middle start here. I counted out to over here. I was going to do a diagonal to get up to the top corner. Now I may just do something in the middle where I go across on both sides and then kind of go up and down, up and down, up and down. But that is where that one is at. Next is Cheese Delivery. This is artwork by Chris Dunn. This is charted by Pain Free Crafts. And I gotta un-Q-snap this a little bit. This is where it's at. This is what I could potentially finish next year if I focused on it, but I probably won't, even though I may have a desire to. I just like to stitch what I want when I want. Or as Rocking Stitcher calls it, sway-wee. Next up is Scorpio. This is I know is retired because this was in the mass retirement that happened this year. This is artwork by Ruth Thompson. And this is what it'll look like. And this is where it's at. This was another middle start. Floss in this, and I got to un-Q-snap, grime guard and un-Q-snap this. This is Blackberry Dragon. Artwork is by Stanley Morrison, charted by Pain Free Crafts. And this is what it'll look like. You've probably seen this one. I don't know if he's been working on it this year or not, but you may have seen this on Dizzy Stitcher's channel. I don't remember. I haven't seen it on any of his recent videos that I've noticed. Sometimes I'm doing something else while I'm watching Flosstube, so I don't always see everything. But I haven't seen it on this, so I don't know if it made this year's whip cut. But this was a middle start, and then I went and started color completing the 310. And I'm probably going to continue color completing the 310 on this one. Not sure. Part of me just wants to start filling in. But I guess it'll be whatever I'm in the mood to do when I pick up this piece again. I have a dedicated bobbin of 310 that goes in the grind guard for this one. Next is A Cozy Evening. This is artwork again by, I'm pretty sure, Borda, Donut, Adrian, like a lot of their artwork. This is what it'll look like. This is where it's at. Again, I started playing with color completion a little bit on this one. I play with things, and then I always end up back to the diagonal. So, but it's fun to play around when you get bored, too. So, I'll always probably have a combination of diagonal and cross-country weirdness. This is Cat Race. Artwork is by Jeff Haney, Heaven and Earth Designs. I don't know if I mentioned Cozy Evening. It was charted by Unconventional Cross Stitch. I also signed up before it closed. You can't sign up for it anymore. Today would have been the last day anyway. No, tomorrow would have been the last day. For the Unconventional Cross Stitch Secret Santa. So I basically purchase the price of a chart, and then you choose 3 charts that you would like to receive, and then at some point we'll get an email with the name, I think just the first name of the person, and the 3 charts that they selected will be like paired up with somebody, and so then what will happen is I'll select out of those 3 charts the chart that I would like for them to receive, and then somebody else will do the same for me. So I'm kind of excited about that, to see which of the 3 charts that I chose gets selected, and I plan to start that chart shortly after there. Whether I don't know if I'll have a free piece of fabric when it happens or not, but I will order one shortly after. So Cat Race, that's where I was at. Cat Race. I always lose this one in here. Oh, wrong. Back up. This is what it'll look like. This is where I'm at with it. I think the last time I was stitching on it, I was thinking about doing two squares of 20 and 2 squares of 10, basically a 20 stitch row and going all the way across the top. I'll probably end up back up the diagonal. Okay, this next one is another new start. This is Afterglow. This is charted by Charting Creations. Artwork by Sangrde, Sangrde. This is kind of an anime style artwork. So that's what it'll look like. It's hard to, when I put it closer, there we go. That part down at the bottom was getting really washed out. And this is where I'm at with it. You may hear some noise uh, as I'm filming. My front door is right there, and I'm expecting an Instacart delivery and a Purple Carrot food delivery, which is a vegan meal prep service. Neither of us are vegan. My wife is pescatarian. I eat whatever, but we order. We occasionally get shipments from Purple Carrot. Kind of helps us both eat a little healthier. Next is Dragonkin, artwork by Ann Stokes, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is what it'll look like. And then this I think, yeah, I need to take off both. So this was another middle start. And I'm going to roll that up a little bit. Okay. So this was another middle start. And this is just so I can get my snapshot. Okay. So then up here, I started to take a diagonal up to get to the top left corner. And then I also started playing with color completion with this color here. So I've, again, been a couple of different ways on this one. Next is the Hangs Tree, artwork by Chris Ortega, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is what it'll look like. This is another one I started playing with color completion on, so I need to take off both sides. And this is where I'm at with it. I got a page done and kind of into the other page with my bleed over for to not get lines. And then I started color completing, and then I started filling in on the next page. And again, just kind of playing with different styles, different ways to complete. Okay, to this stack. Next is Quarantine Cats. Artwork is by Bridget Ashwood, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is one I've been debating a lot of the year about UFOing and cutting the fabric down to start something else. But I do like it, and I was stitching on it the other day and started enjoying it again. So I think it's going to stay in my rotation. Not that I have a rotation; it's just grab it when I feel like it. But so this is where I'm at with it. The other day, I finished this diagonal of 10 right here. Let me see. Yeah, that's better. It's just further away from the camera, light-wise, so that's better. Next is the Pain Free Crafts 2024 Sal called Evolution. Oops. That is what it'll look like. I got the full coverage version. And I started this down in the corner. I had to restart this one too because this was one of the pieces of fabric that I cut down. Not this piece of fabric, obviously, but this was one of the charts where I cut down a piece of fabric and thought it was 28 count and it was 25 count. So I had to restart this one on a new piece of fabric. But the first piece that came out was the bottom corner pages. So that's where I started, was in the bottom corner. I was just stitching on this the other night. Next, what is this? Oh, this is Scotty. This is Scotty, Goddess of the North. Artwork is by Dusan Markovic, charted by Charting Creations. This is one of my favorites to work on. I love working on this piece. This is what it'll look like. And this is one I have done just about everything on. Oh. Hang's tree came out of that grime guard. So I have done... I really should have taken this one out of the... Let's take the... I didn't do any Q-snap prep for this one, for this video. Obviously, I was in the shower and decided it was gonna be a good time to film when I got out of the shower. So this is where it is at. Let me back up a little bit to get it all in frame. So you can see you can see a spot above that diagonal where I started with a little bit of color completion. I've done diagonal. I've done cross. Different types of diagonal, just about every way of stitching, typewriter, every different way is to apart from Royal Rose. I don't really mess with Royal Rose much. I'll do like variations on Royal Rose, but I don't like parking, and that's, I know part of Royal Rose is parking in the next column, in the next stack. I don't like having those threads everywhere. I always cut off my threads. I tried that early on in my stitching, and it just wasn't for me. Okay, that didn't have a grime guard on it. Closed pattern keeper. Next is Gallery of Learning. I'm just going to collect grime guards. Excuse me. This is artwork by Randall Spangler, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is what it'll look like. There's another one where I was just playing mostly with kind of a checkerboard idea I had. So this is where it's at. So my original idea, like I finished this page, and then I thought, wouldn't it be cool to do a checkerboard of pages? So I went down to this page, and then I took the idea a step further and did, well, what if I did the page has a checkerboard, and then filled in the rest of the checkerboard, and then just played with the whole checkerboard idea. And now I'm just kind of back to doing whatever. I think I was stitching on this last week, and I think I was kind of in the mood for taking the top row across. As you can tell, I am more a process stitcher than a stitch to completion stitcher. I will not finish all of these with the time I have left on this earth, and that's why I continue to start charts, because I know I will never get everything I want to completed in the time I have left on this earth. So I might as well have fun stitching on the things I like stitching on and not regret never having started them. Next is Remember a Day artwork. I think this is Chris Down again. Yeah, Chris Down. Mock-up, not PDF. Thank you. This is what it'll look like. This one, I've always been drawn to this one by the look on her face. Just like you could, if I was any kind of writer, I could probably come up with at least 5 to 10 stories about just the thoughts and what led to this moment. That's what's always drawn me to that piece, is the story, the potential story of what's going on in that moment. And this is, no, I took all the way across the top once. This is where it's at. Again, it looks like I was playing with color completion here at the top of her head. I wasn't. It wasn't intentional to do color completion. It was to get stitch count for WIP Go. There was a bunch of 310 right there, so I could just knock out a bunch of stitches real quick and cross it off of WIP Go. So that's what that was. This is a relatively recent new start. This is, I'm late to the bandwagon on discovering Stitch is So Beautiful. But this is a Stitch is So Beautiful chart. Artwork is by the Art Revivalist. And it is called, I gotta get the full title. I just call it Gothic Princess. Gothic Princess and Moonlight Palace. So let me get back to the mock-up. And this is what it'll look like. I saw this, fell in love with it, purchased it, got fabric, and I cut fabric down from something else that I decided to UFO. And started it. Probably within days of purchasing the chart. Might have been the same day. That's how much I fell in love with this one. And this is where I'm at with it. I've even got a really good, decent start. I mean, it's only 50 stitch across pages. So, really, and I think what is it? I think it's only 62 stitches down for the page. So, much smaller than a Haid page. So you feel a sense of accomplishment a little bit sooner. Next is Inner Depths, artwork by Chris Ortega, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This was on my Instagram a week or two ago because I was doing a little bit of wheel spinning and spent a day focusing on it. And this is where I'm at with it. I can tell this is going to be longer than last year's WIP Parade because very similar number of whips, just I rambled a little bit more on this one. Went into my whole disenchantment with Heaven and Earth Designs lately. Rainy Waterloo Place is next. If I can find it. There it is. And this is Rainy Waterloo Place, London, 1899. The artist is not listed on the PDF, so I don't know who the artwork is by, but it's charted by Cross Stitch Collectibles. This might even be a public domain piece. Because I know that that Cross Stitch Collectibles has charts a lot of public domain art, classic artwork that has fallen into the public domain. That is where I'm at with it. Again, this is another one I could finish next year if I put the effort in. Don't know if I will. Cheese delivery. I could finish next year if I put the effort in. probably won't. This is the one I'm currently getting to 5%. This is... I don't even know if an artist is listed on this, because this is like a screen grab from a video game. This is Stardew Valley Christmas from Glitch Stitch AU on Etsy. First saw this on Crafty Gaming Jamie's channel. She was stitching the different seasons of Stardew Valley. So there is Stardew Valley Christmas. This is my favorite cozy video game. And I don't have a big start, but that is where I'm at with it. I got a little over 200 stitches to get it to 5% today, and then I'm going to be switching to Mermaid. Next one that, if you've been with me since the beginning, you will have seen. This is Outer Frontier by Chris Ortega. This is my old... Now that Audrey is done, this is my oldest full coverage. Heaven and Earth Designs. This is what it'll look like. I still may... jury's out. I'm about 3,000 stitches away from 50% done with this. My goal initially at the top of the year was to get this to 75% so I could put it in finishing position for next year. I don't think that's going to happen. I think I'm probably looking at a 2026 finish on this. But I was hoping to at least be to 50% by the end of this year. But let me just take this fully off. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get this. There we go. This is all in frame. This is where it's at. This year I completed this page. I started playing with color completing 3371 on it, and I'm currently working up in this area. Getting to the... I was doing a row across here the last time I was stitching on it. And we will mess with getting this back on the Q-snap later. Put it up here for now. Get this Q-snap out of the way. Okay, next is Oracle of Visions, artwork by Ciro Marchetti, Heaven and Earth Designs. Where is it in here? There it is. This is what it'll look like. This is where it is at. Next is Be With You, artwork by Jeff Haney, I want to say. Yeah, Jeff Haney. Charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And this I started as a memorial piece, tribute piece, for all four of our cats that have crossed the Rainbow Bridge. And that is as far as I've gotten on it. I kind of started it and realized I wasn't emotionally ready to start on it, but have been putting work into it recently. Next is Stolen Harvest. This is artwork by Annie Stay, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. That's what it looks like. Okay. Take the grind guard off. Take this side down and this side. This is where I'm at with it. A lot of black. A lot of black. $37.99, $33.71. I think my Instacart might be here, which is good timing because I'm almost done. 2 left, guys. 2 left. We're at the hour mark. I do not need to take this one out of Q-Snap. This is Lackadaisy Voodoo. Artwork is by Tracy Butler. Charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is another tribute piece when at the time that we had only lost 3 of our cats. This was meant to represent the 3 that we had lost. And this way. This was another middle start. One more. This is Once Upon a Fairy Tale, artwork by Annie Stewart, Heaven and Earth Designs. I think most people are familiar with this one. And, yep, that's as much as I need to take off. That is where I'm at with it. And that is it. That is all my full coverage whips. You'll notice, some of you, like I said, may notice the absence of certain pieces like Castle Wolves. I can't remember the names of other ones. That's how little I stitched on them. Yeah. So, hopefully, I can make more of a habit this next year of doing cross-stitch updates and doing Flosstube updates and making some more videos with progress on these charts. I haven't fully worked out plans for next year. I may do a plans video, I may not, because every time I make plans, I just end up stitching what I want when I want anyway. I always fall off of those plans. Right now, I'm kind of focused on getting things up to 5%, but some of my charts that I need to get up to 5%, it's going to take another 17,000, 18,000 stitches to get them up to 5% because I work on big charts. So we'll see. I was been playing a little bit with the temperature stitching thing that's kind of going around of picking 10 charts and then whatever the last digit is of the high temperature of the day, putting 100 stitches in to the corresponding chart. So I'm playing with that a little bit, but I also, again, don't always stick to like a daily thing. Like certain charts, I know if I put this many stitches into it a day, I'll get to this point by this time or finish it by this time. But a day will come and I just don't feel like stitching on that chart that day, or I don't feel like stitching at all that day. Anyway, that is my full coverage WIP Parade. Hopefully I'll be back sooner than another year. We'll see. I may just be a yearly WIP Parade person. Who knows? We'll see. But thank you all for tuning in. Leave a comment, a like, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully before December of 2025.